Hello everyone, this is podsnaij. You are most welcome to the listening hub of the century. Very quickly before we get into the episode proper, I'd like to make a few announcements. First, I will be expanding the scope of my podcast. This in no way affects the conventional podsnaij episode you all get, which contains the African facts, African culture, the Small Outreach Progress Report, contemporary issues in the globe. It does not affect my usual podcast episode. So in expanding the scope of my episode, I will simply be documenting stories of young men and women that have been killed as a result of police brutality. I will be sharing the stories as a way of honoring these people, their lives, their dreams, their visions, and so that they are not forgotten, so that they are not buried in the rubbles of political strategies that we're currently going through in the country. And then these are stories we will need to tell future generations concerning events that are recently be happening in our country. So stay tuned, and I hope that as you listen, you will be eager to listen to other stories that will be coming up. I will be making it easy for each and every one of you to know which of my episodes will be covering these documentaries. And trust me, from the title, you will know if it's the usual podsnaij episode or a police brutality story. Let us take a journey to the past, to the year 2012, precisely 29th of November 2012. I will be sharing with you a very touching story, and like I said, this is a tribute. And for this particular segment, this is a tribute to Chijioke Iloanya. Chijioke's sister, Obianuju, has explained how her older brother was last seen in 2012 when he attended a child dedication. According to her, she was 17 at the time, and her brother went to Ajali, Orumba, North Local Government Area of Anambra State. It was at this child dedication that officers from Ajali police station rounded up everyone who was at the celebration, including Chijioke, from where they were, and transferred them to Special Anti-Robbery Squad, Awkuzu. I hope I pronounced that right. It is a known fact, that worst cases of human rights violations are recorded in this particular unit. At the time, CSP James Nwafor was the head of the unit. According to the stories, Chijioke was taken away after SARS officials invaded the child dedication event. Chijioke, 20 years old at that time, had never been involved in any act of crime. And so when news of Chijioke's arrest got to his parents, they went looking for him immediately, wondering what would have happened. In my mind, I'm thinking they must have felt it was nothing serious, probably a quarrel, a fight. I say this because my brother had an issue with the police once, and we felt, this is my brother, he's never done anything. We just walk in there and get him out of there. So I can imagine how his parents must have felt, thinking they would go and settle things and get their loving son back home. Chijioke's mother saw her son at the station during their first visit, but they couldn't secure his release because, as usual, SARS operatives asked for money. The Nwafor-led SARS is notorious for asking for outrageous sums of bail fees in exchange for the release and freedom of their detainees. And somehow, news got out about this particular unit in Anambra State, that these units are known for forcefully converting properties of suspects for their personal use. The next time Chijioke's parents went to the station, they couldn't see their son. They asked after their son, and CSP Nwafor boasted that he had killed his son and there was nothing they could do about it. According to Obianuju's narration, his father refused to believe that his son was dead. He was heartbroken, he was confused, he was scared, I can imagine. And then he sought the help of other officers at the unit who told him that, okay, Nwafor might be joking, and all you need to do is get some money, and they will release your son. And so Chijioke's father returned to the station the next day with money. But according to the officers, that money was not enough to save their son. It was at this point the family began to suspect that their son might truly have been killed. And so they tried, finding out if he's dead, if he's not dead. They needed closure. News got to Chijioke's father that there's this river. SARS officers usually dump dead bodies of those that have been shot and killed. This river is called the Ezu River at the border of Enugu and Anambra State. I am going to take our time to talk about this particular river, and that would not be in this segment or maybe this episode, but I'm sure that the world needs to know about this river. Chijioke's father went to this river and searched through a pile of dead bodies that have been shot, that have been killed, and some signs of extreme torture. He upturned bodies one after the other, trying to identify his son. They didn't find him. The family tried everything they could. They went back to the commissioner of police in Anambra State, who told them that his hands were tied and that there was nothing he could do. Till today, Chijioke Iloanya John has not been found. CSP James Nwafor was never investigated, but thanks to the SARS protest, he has been sacked. But before the SARS protest, he was appointed as a special advisor to the governor Obiano on security matters in 2018. A well-paid job that saw to his family living large in Anambra. He held that post for 2 years before massive protests for the abolishment of SARS forced the governor to sack him. This is the story of Chijioke. I wish I knew more, but right now I'm relying on sources from the internet, videos, and contacting the families of these people might not be so good because I do not want to remind them of the pain they had to go through. It is really painful and sad that it took a nationwide protest to bring a man to justice. And I wouldn't call sacking him justice, because if he truly is responsible for the death of men in Anambra State, aside the disappearance of Chijioke, if those bodies in Azu River can truly be linked to him, then can we say justice has been served? I wouldn't say that, because he's alive, he's well, he's not been persecuted yet, he's just been sacked. Chijioke was a man, a young man. Many of us at the age of 20 had dreams, we had plans. Some of us were in schools, placing building blocks to our pinnacle of success, to be cut short because a man deemed it fit to take your life from you. A man deemed it fit to exchange your life for money. The typical Nigerian cannot afford to pay ransom. That's the truth. Now, demanding money in exchange for a Nigerian's life is like asking for the impossible, to be honest, because there will be no money. They will not be able to afford what it will take to secure their freedom. I don't know if this gives you a picture of what it looks like to be a Nigerian. And so this marks the beginning of our tribute to Nigerian heroes who died at the hands of policemen. I hope that this is enlightening. This gives you some knowledge about what is happening, and somehow you can always come back to this episode to remember men and women who should never be forgotten. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please do well to share with your friends. Kindly follow on social media handles. You can leave me a voice message as well. I would love to know what you think of my plans. And if you do have a story that needs to be told, do not hesitate to send me your story. I can be reached on any of the social media platforms on the description of this podcast. And yes, I look forward to hearing from you, because I really would love to share more stories. Do have a wonderful time, and God bless.